Emma Watson recently had an interview about Beauty and the Beast, and this is what she said.
It just always reveals to me how many misconceptions and what a misunderstanding that there is of what feminism is. Feminism is about giving women choice. Feminism is not a stick with which to beat other women with. It's about freedom. It's about liberation. It's about equality. I really don't know what my tits have to do with it. It's very confusing.
Tim Walker's great. He
I'm
shot me with
confused.
flowers in my beard.
Most people are confused. No, I'm always just kind of quietly stunned. But
People saying that.
they were saying that I couldn't be a feminist and
have boobs.
have boobs.
Now, there are several things very interesting about this interview. One is that her co-star, Dan Stevens, played one of the protagonists in the very popular and highly praised Downton Abbey, the only historic series that dared to show the white feather girls. Not for very long or very detailed, of course, just short enough so that the audience wouldn't have grasped the full scope of the suffragettes' participation in sending men to die horribly in war. But Dan Stevens might know something about it, who knows? You can see here that he's skeptical, and he asked Emma Watson, what are people actually saying? And Emma Watson said that, well, people are saying that feminists are not allowed to have or show boobs. Now, I'm sure most of you have already seen the Emma Watson UN speech, where she attempted to do a he for she, effectively saying that men somehow must bear the responsibility of feminism too. As if making more and more laws in favor of women isn't enough. Emma Watson is blissfully unaware of her hypocrisy, where in her speech she criticized the societal norm that sexualizes women, yet she herself participates in the sexualization by making herself sexualized. Also, just on a side note, I wonder if she understands that the fact that she has boobs, and men don't, is part of something we call sexual dimorphism, which pretty much guarantees the natural lack of total equality of the outcomes between men and women. Just throwing that out there. Yes, Emma Watson, women do have a choice. You, as a woman, have a choice to not post things that sexualize yourself, or, if you do it, you choose to sexualize yourself. Isn't this very interesting? I mean, do you not understand that societal norms came from this? It came from a tendency for both men and women to choose something that will make themselves happy. And thus you see the fucking norm. Women want to make themselves attractive, and this will be part of their choice. And most women happily make themselves look attractive. And as they're doing it, there are consequences, such as when they make themselves look attractive, heterosexual men notice them. The average sane woman probably like that. You yourself love to make yourself look very attractive. This is very apparent from the way you dress, the way you put on makeup, because you are a very attractive woman who's obviously very proud, even smug about your gift from nature. Therefore, men will sexualize you in a form of appreciation for what you have been endowed with. But you call this patriarchy and patriarchal oppression of women. So Emma Watson, which is it? Are women free to choose to do what they're happy doing or not? If they are, why do you have a problem when majority of the women freely choose to not be feminists? The second interesting thing is that she stars in this live-action Disney Beauty and the Beast movie. Now, the original Beauty and the Beast story had several storylines that deviates from the Disney version. First and foremost is that in the original version, all the villains are in fact women. The people who made Belle break a promise to return to the Beast, which resulted in the Beast nearly dying, were her sisters. In the original story, the prince was turned into a beast by a sorceress. Unlike the Disney version, there was no any kind of justified reason for why the sorceress did that. So one can only deduce that she did it out of spite. Hence, she was being villainous. This was, in my opinion, a higher form of storytelling, as it reflects something apparent in our society, and that is that not only can females be just as capable as males to do bad things for no good reason, occasionally bad things happen to good people, also for no good reason. The prince in the original story was actually the gentleman throughout. The only time he lost it and showed a bit of destructive emotion was when Belle's father went to his garden and picked his rose without asking him first. And the father was doing that because Belle asked her father for a rose to bring back from his trips, and this was also what separated her from her sisters, who asked for very expensive, vain, girly things. At the same time, not being very considerate with how much money their father actually possesses to be able to buy all this stuff. The prince lived in solitary after the curse, and he liked very beautiful things because he is something that is very ugly. And his most beloved treasure were the roses, as they were something that are naturally beautiful. So in fact, he lets the father who was lost in his trip steal stuff from his castle that the father promised to his other daughters. But the prince sort of lost it when the father uprooted the rose. He lets the father go on the condition that one of his daughters must come and live with him. Naturally, Belle, being the good daughter, understanding that it was in fact because of her that got her father into such big trouble, went to live with the Beast Prince. So here comes the fundamental difference between the Disney version and the original version. In the original version, a way to break the curse is if a woman freely chooses to marry the Beast. So in a way, the original story was Belle learning her lesson in life, not the Beast. The Belle's lesson is to meet this gentleman who, among other things, is also very rich, and learn to see past the ugliness to find the beauty within. Which is another thing that is very reflective of real life. But it's not just that. The Beast in the original story does the courtship as, men were pressured to do by society. By showering her with rich gifts every single day, every single night, and then every single night at dinner, he asked her, "Will you marry me?" And she, of course, says no. So this is, again, reflective of the power that women have over men. But I guess, she wasn't smart enough to ask the real question, which is, well, how is that even physically possible? Marriage between a human being and a non-human being. Maybe had she done that, that would have given away the secret curse. This is like a story plot hole. But Belle also has to do her part in society, as reflected in the story, to accept marriage in order to get all of her happiness. But of course, the man still needs to do more, as every night she says no, the Beast still gives her tons of shit. But this is fantasy, so whatever. Supposedly the prince possesses all this privilege without having to really work for them, so, whatever. So the ending of the original story was similar to the Disney version. Belle misses her father, she went home. She went home dressed like a royal princess, and her sisters went into a fit of jealousy and decided to emotional blackmail her into staying. She stayed, and then she felt guilty and looked in the magical mirror and found out that the Beast lay dying of heartbreak at the rose garden. She rushed back, agreed to the marriage, cried over him, for forgiveness, and then the Beast turned back into the handsome prince alive, and then they happily got married. So if you want to read a much more faithful retelling of the story, you should read Beauty by Robin McKinley. So what does this all mean? It means that Disney made the story feminist, but much more so than the original story. The original story was already, if you really think about it, is very feminist in that it's gynocentric. Not surprisingly, Emma Watson happily participates in this Disney version. She happily participates in a movie that gives the message to little girls that if something bad happens to men and boys, they of course deserve it. They deserve a lesson from a woman by a woman, So the girls' role in society is apparently to teach men and boys how to live a good life. And if something bad happens to men and boys, they can only be forgiven from, you guessed it, the guidance of a woman. But hey, our society just hates women, doesn't it?